I'm Jessica.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Stephanie.
And you are listening to Pastors' Wives Tell All,
a podcast by pastors' wives for church leaders and anyone desiring to take a peek inside our glass house.
We are breaking down walls and crushing pastors' wives stereotypes within the church.
We want pastors' wives and other ministry leaders to know that they are not alone in this. Plus, this is basically therapy for the three of us with a whole lot of dance parties. Woo, woo. Hey friends, welcome back to Pastors' Wives Tell All.
Wow.
Didn't that sound great?
That was exciting.
We picked up Jenna from
Like
Texas.
Like a talk show or something.
From Texas.
A talk show host from Texas.
She was not her normal accent just then.
You know,
it was a little bit more country.
I was born in
so true.
Texas. I'm just saying. So
No, I think you were getting ready for Broadway right there. It was just let y'all know. She's back. I'm back. She got her belt buckles.
Oh,
and
I don't know about
orange
that.
earrings.
Did you say orange earrings?
Large.
Oh, large.
Don't worry. I'll be your interpreter.
I was like, orange? Why do they have to be orange? I'm confused. Anyway,
Go Vols.
welcome back to the show, guys.
Yeah.
Hi.
Welcome us. I mean,
Welcome us. I think if they're still listening, they are welcoming us because if they haven't turned it off by now,
oh boy.
bless them. Okay. Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about all the things that we are looking forward to this year.
Is there? Did she take something?
Just drank some coffee. That's
This
it.
country. Now she's like,
I don't know.
I just cracked my neck.
Speaking of coffee.
Anyway, we're drinking coffee. We're talking about all the things. It's great. Oh, here we go.
That was I just want to be honest with y'all. I just took a fake sip because I can't drink lukewarm coffee.
Oh,
Jesus
that's
says
so
spit it
true.
out of your mouth. And
Jessica-
so therefore I say
Jessica prefers her coffee boiling. It is a miracle that she still has taste
That
buds.
was so spiritual of you. I'm so proud.
Wow.
spiritual Jess.
All right. I'm leaving that in here.
Okay.
Anyway.
Jenna, what are we talking about today?
I've already said that, but you want me to say it again?
She totally did say it. She did.
This is great. This is going so well.
So good.
This is why you're
Okay.
here.
For those of you who need to know what we're talking about again, we are talking about all the things we are looking forward to this year in our churches, in our personal lives, family, spiritual lives, everything, all
Yeah.
the things.
All the things. I like
Jessica, you should go first.
it. Okay.
I love that
look on her face.
I do too.
Okay, so I guess we're going to start.
With
I'm
you.
going to start family
We're
first.
starting with you.
I'm starting with family stuff. Jonathan and I have been talking about what our year will look like. Usually at the beginning of the year, I have a journal that we go through, each person in the family, of all the things that stood out to us the year before and write all of that down. And then we talk about what are our things for 2025 or whatever year we're in at the time. So we haven't done that yet. So that's confession. But we're going to do it this week.
I was just about to tell you how intentional that is and how
I know,
congratulations.
I'm very impressed.
Congratulations, because that's amazing and I should do that. But I don't.
Are we
So-
just going to keep shaking hands?
If you're watching on YouTube, I'm shaking Jessica's hand right now, telling her congratulations. Anyway,
Oh my gosh. So that is the first thing that I have to do. But one of the things that my daughter Grace shared with me the other day, she had gotten out of her devotion and she's like, Mom, she's like, what about for the new year? We start with a book of the Bible and we go through it as a family. And I was like, I love that idea, babe. I was like, what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I don't know. I just had the idea. I was like, well, babe, it's your idea. Apparently God has given it to you. So you pray about it and figure out what you want to do with it. So we talked about last night, like how we're going to do it. We're going to try it two different ways. But she want to go through 1 Peter first. Cause he's first. Sorry.
What if she would have come to you and said, I want to start with 3 John?
Well, she did start with Revelation. I do want to let y'all know that's what she started with. And Jonathan and I were like, no.
no.
She's read through it and she's studying in school right now. So I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
And so anyways, so we're starting with 1 Peter and we're going to read on it the whole week. And then we'll have a time as a family to kind of talk about it and what we learned and like read our notes and kind of share and have conversation. So I love that. That's something new. We haven't done that before. So I love that was Grace's idea. And so we're going to do that. I think a lot of things for me with family is just, I told Jonathan this year, I want to be able to say yes to things that could be a long way away. So such as, if we're like, hey, we can't go spend a whole week at Universal, but we could spend a day if we saved the money. And so let's not be afraid to do a quick trip, even if it's a long way away. And so just like that kind of thing, so we can just have those memories. We do pretty good with travel and going. We always are taking them places. But I was like, let's not be afraid to go a little bit further and take more camping trips and that kind of stuff. But I think the other thing is just being intentional with the girls and really kind of like, they started the Bible study last year, and I love that. But how can we continue to grow like who they are and disciple them like in their schools, what they can be doing? But one of the things for me that just as a mom, I remind the girls a lot about doing their devotion every day. And that's just because it's kind of just like our nature to remind our kids to do things, even if they don't need reminding. And I know that's annoying. So I really would actually like to do better. I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with the girls on like, hey, like you can't have a walk with Jesus just because mom reminds you to, like your devotion time and the importance of it. And we talk about that all the time, but I really want to try to I want to grow godly warriors. Like I'm not growing children, so we have to stop trying to grow children and make them children. Like we need to grow them into adults. Yeah. And so I'm really going to have a conversation with them about that. And then that, hey, mom's going to back away from, telling you every day, do your devotion. And so that's something that's been on my mind and heart lately, because I just really, part of discipleship is letting them and giving them freedom to make the right choices and also to make the wrong choices with things. So that's one of the things that I just feel like I need to do better at this year. Is they're getting at an age now at, fixing to be 13, fixing to be 15, where we've got to start making choices because we desire it, and not because our parents are asking us to. So I would say family wise, that is where I'm at. And then just with Jonathan and I, just taking those moments, continuing to have that time together, take dates when we can, just small little pockets of time, coffee dates, and just playing cards at home. This year is very busy and I'm gone a lot starting in just a couple of weeks. So just making sure that we continue to be intentional, I think is super important when we all have busy lives, right? And just making sure that I'm praying for him. I kind of at the end of the year kind of caught myself going like, Lord, I'm not praying for him all the time. And so I just want to be more intentional to make sure I am doing that and going to the throne room and praying and interceding on his behalf, and doing a better job of that this year. So I would say those are family stuff for me.
That's good.
What about you, Jenna?
For me, I want to start having more meals around our table. That's one thing that we have honestly never done a great job at. This table stays set with, the decoration that I have in the middle of it, most of the time. We just, the kids it's kind of a fend for yourself situation at our house that sounds awful, but we're busy. And so a lot of the time it's just, okay, do we have something left over? If we do, let's heat it up. Kids sit at the bar to eat, and me and Ian will, warm up something and we'll stand in the kitchen. And so there's never an actual sit down at the table, have conversation. Yeah. I want to have more meals around this table. Yeah. That's something that I really desire. So I'm going to be more intentional about that, making that happen this year.
Once you warm up the chicken nuggets or the leftovers, just take them right here.
That's right. But I really I want the kids to be more involved. I will be honest, I've never liked having my kids in my kitchen. I'm the mom who likes clean and not a mess. And my kids make messes. So therefore they're not usually, in the kitchen helping me cook something or get something ready. Because there's usually a spill that happens or something. Yeah. So I just, I've always just been well, let me do it. And that way it's not messy.
I can
And
relate to that.
It's just how I am. And so, but I really want to get them more involved. Like, hey, go clear the table. Like, put the plates down. Like I want to get them more involved in the kitchen because I have done a terrible job at that. But then one thing too, like personally, but also with family, and I've started to do this and I've been craving it more, which I think is really good for me, is being in my pajamas with a blanket.
I'm so proud.
I know you are. I know you are so proud of me.
My heart is like
I have been like, I crave
growing.
pajamas and I crave a comfy blanket. And that has never been me. I'm like, nope, let me just leave my shoes on.
Literally all day long, her shoes are on in her house.
I'm like, my shoes don't usually come off until we talked about this the other day because Jonathan does this too, right?
My husband. Oh, it's Enneagram one thing.
It's like
I'm stereotyping y'all.
I feel like I'm not productive or something if I don't have my shoes on. That's not actually something I think about, like, oh, I got to have my shoes on or I can't do anything. But I just don't think to take them off and get comfortable, And so we actually have gone through 2 different like movie series in the past couple of weeks with the kids, like ones that are okay for them to watch and us to watch. And it's everybody get in your pajamas with a blanket and we sit in the living room and watch movies together.
So proud
and
of
like,
you.
that's just never been something that we've been real good at doing. So
That's awesome.
I'm hoping that we can continue that.
Oh, I bet Ian loves that you want to get comfy. Like, because
yeah.
he's like, hey, let's take a nap together.
Yeah. But normally,
I like it.
But normally I like to have things just so before I can relax, that's still there. I won't lie. Like I like to prepare for whatever I'm doing. So I do, like, I'm not going to I can't just pop up over here and watch a movie with, like, if it is a hot mess, like I'm going to at least make sure like everything in the kitchen's put away, which is something I can do quickly. But ultimately, like the fact that I am putting on pajamas and wrapping myself in a blanket, that is a big deal.
That's impressive.
If you know me, that is a really big deal.
Going into January hot. That's
So,
it. I like it.
Coming in hot.
I've really been enjoying that and craving it too. So, which is like, just slowing down and like being more intentional about being present and still not moving around is something that I'm trying to do better at this year.
Stay in a blanket. You'll stay still.
Stay in a blanket.
That's your applicable takeaway, guys.
There you go.
Stay in a blanket and you'll stay still. Or you can wrap it as a skirt like I do and walk around the house.
You do that. You sure do. It's funny. I've seen
wanna be
Stephanie
cozy.
do that too,
I've done
actually.
it, yeah.
I want to be cozy even when I'm walking. Okay.
Oh,
What
in the
about you,
morning,
Steph?
especially when it's like chilly and you wrap it up and then you can just walk around and I like it.
Hey friends, we will get right back to our episode, but we want to take a moment and thank our patrons. You guys keep our podcast going.
If you are not a patron and you would like to consider donating to our podcast ministry, we would be so grateful. And we might even do a happy dance.
When you become a patron, you get perks like being the first to hear about special info and retreats. You get bonus episodes, monthly devotionals, lock screens, and more.
Plus, we have added a new $1 tier for those who believe in us and what we're doing, just because you love us.
So head on over to our show notes and click on the Patreon link to learn more. Now let's get back to our episode.
Anyway, so things I'm looking forward to this year, wanting to implement. One thing, okay, while you were talking about family stuff, my daughter just came home to be homeschooled again. She tried school this past semester. It wasn't for her or us. And so she's back home with my middle son, who's also homeschooling. And I really would like to take this opportunity. I know my oldest is he's busy right now with basketball and he does go to school. But I think it'll be good for these younger ones for me to spend even more intentional time. When you were talking about the Bible, going through different books, well, I want to implement Bible time, of course, even into homeschool. And so it got me like my wheels turning of what we could go through together this year. Because it is kind of fun having both of them do that and then kind of like updating Bryce later about what we're doing in case he wants to like join in. So that got me thinking I want to sit down and figure out what would be good for us to go through together and what we could enjoy. Maybe get Isaac involved, my hubby. So I like that. Another thing that I've been thinking about is there's a book I really want to write. But there's so much, and just thinking about it is overwhelming for me because there's so much I'm going to have to research and do for this book, because it's not just all right there in my head. I'm going to have to really study the word and pull things out from there, and then go to other places to seek out information. It's just a lot. And so I started a note in my phone, and every time I'm reading my Bible and something hits me regarding that book, I instantly write it down there. Because I'm thinking, if I can gather, instead of feeling so overwhelmed, just as I'm going through the Gospels, which is what I'm doing right now, and honestly, that's where I'm going to find all the information, because I'm wanting to base a lot around Jesus's life and what he did in this book to kind of correlate with what the whole thing's about. And so as I'm going through, it's like God's showing me little things. I'm like, oh, that right there. And so I'm writing it down. I'm writing the verse. I'm writing my thoughts on it. And so I can compile. So I think for the next couple of months, as I'm reading through the Gospels, that perhaps by the time I get done with that, I'm going to feel more prepared for this book that I'm really wanting to write a proposal for and get going on writing. So that is kind of a goal and something I feel led to do. So that's exciting.
Exciting. I
That
love
is
it.
exciting.
I love it. I love it all. What about ministry wise? Church or ministry? Any things that, do you want me to start while y'all think?
Yeah,
or
why
do
don't you
have
go
something,
for it?
Jenna? I would say church. I actually first just need to fill out my, whatever my husband has given all of the staff for the year. And I'm one of the only ones that hasn't filled it out yet. It is something.
You still haven't filled that out?
Nope.
Because
Yep.
I remember him asking you about that like weeks ago.
Jonathan, if you're listening, I'm going to do that this week. Okay.
Are
so I'm doing that. That's where I'm going to start. But also, I think like the biggest thing for, I would say, missions is I'm still praying about another country we can go to other than Rwanda. We have a team goes to Rwanda every year in May for Village for our church, but just another place, and just being intentional and just teaching, like in the women's ministry and missions team, like being intentional with the team more. I feel like I was hit or miss with that last year. We did things every month and had things going, and the people were poured into, but I don't think the team was as much. So I want to definitely do that better. So that's probably one of the top things that I would say for church. And then just for us, like I was asking the Lord this morning, like, okay, God, like, we have a few things for this year, the podcasting, all of that, but Lord, like, make sure we're not missing anything. Like, give us fresh vision to make sure that we see all the opportunities, and that they're yours, not ours. Right. And just making sure that we're, just very much rooted in why we're doing what we're doing. And then just to be very present when we're doing those things, and we have one coming up soon. So a conference, and we apparently don't really talk about it a whole lot other than plan it because it's a lot of people.
We really haven't talked about it.
We should do that after this podcast.
We should. I think we're all a little scared. I'm not scared.
I thought you meant talk about it right here in front of all of them. I was like, sure, let's talk about it.
No, we're good. I mean, yeah, you can, but we don't mention the people usually, how many there are.
Yeah. It's fine.
Scary.
I'm excited to meet the people of the church and the pastors' wives.
Oh, that's what I'm most excited about, because at this conference, we not only get to run this fun girls' night basically for all of the women, but then the next morning we get to have brunch with all of the pastors' wives from their different campuses, because it's a multi-site church.
It's so cool.
So we get to encourage them and sit with them. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to most, honestly.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Because we haven't done meetups in a while. I want to do more lunch meetups. Like, I want us to get back to that because I love it.
Yeah.
So.
And if you haven't been to one and you're not sure what she's talking about, just so you know, so you can be on the lookout for them, because we will send out emails about these before they happen. And there is limited space for these events. So you want to be on our email list, trust me. But basically we send out an email, or we go to Instagram and we tell them, hey, we want to have lunch with you, or we want to have brunch with you. And we'll pick a city to go to. Normally it's within driving distance. So we've been to like places in the top part of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, but we have not done it in forever. And so we bring gifts for those who decide to come. It doesn't cost you anything other than you got to pay for your own brunch or lunch. We can't pay for that. But we just come and sit with you and encourage you and hear your heart and eat with you. It's a fun way to meet people because we believe in keeping this about the people.
Yeah.
This is not some platform we're trying to build for us. This is, we want to encourage you in your ministry and hear your hearts because you're real people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that too.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. Anything else for ministry or anything before we?
Well, I kind of talked about this on another podcast episode, but I think just using my spiritual gifts more this year, not just in our ministry, but the other ministries that I'm connected with, is something I'm super excited about. Just trying to navigate and figure out. So
Yeah. If you want to listen to that one, it was last week. So you should go listen to it if you haven't.
All about spiritual gifts.
It's good. It's a good one.
We talk about that together. We're so cool.
We are.
Also,
Did you think of something else?
yeah. Also, when we post about this, maybe we can question and say, hey, like, what are your New Year's resolutions or things that you're thinking about for your life,
What are
your
you
family?
looking forward to this next year? Yeah.
So be looking out for that post because when this podcast comes out, we can make that happen. So we'd love to hear and we learn from y'all.
that's right.
Please.
Yes.
We love it. So anyways,
We do.
We love you guys. Bye.
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 Okay, friends, if you have enjoyed this episode as much as we have, please help us spread the word on Facebook and Instagram.
If you didn't know yet, Instagram is where all the fun is at. From dance reels on Wednesdays to spiritual encouragement and laugh out loud posts in between, there is something for everyone.
And last but certainly not least, if you could take a moment right now to stop what you're doing and give us a rating and review, even subscribe to our podcast, this seriously helps other people find us who wouldn't be able to otherwise. Thank you so much for your love and support. We hope you'll tune in next week.